Okay, great. So I'm going to get started here. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Dawn Couture. I am, obviously, this is criminal law. I am recording this while having an audio conference, a phone conference simultaneously with a student who's been kind enough to allow me to use this opportunity to record for those of you who need a review or who weren't able to be in class today. But so the introduction is me. I'm Dawn Couture. I'm an attorney. I'm relatively new to Curry. I came to Curry last spring, so spring of 21. Before that, I was 2 years at Bridgewater State University on a temporary full-time appointment, and then COVID hit, and all of those jobs disappeared. Just prior to that, so from 2016 to 2018 or the 19, the beginning of COVID, I was at Mount Ida College as the director of the Criminal Justice and Law and Society programs. And as you probably know, or maybe don't know, Mount Ida closed suddenly, very suddenly, with like 2 weeks advance notice. So that's why I left Mount Ida to go to Bridgewater, and that's why I left Bridgewater to come to Curry, but I'm glad to be at Curry. To be honest, it feels like the right place for me for right now. Before Mount Ida, I was the director of the Criminal Justice Program at Dean College from 2004 to 2016, and very active in criminal justice education and criminal justice associations, both at the national level and the regional level and the local level as well. Before that, I was an assistant district attorney in Norfolk County. My area of concentration was in sexual assault and domestic violence crimes. I was also the executive director of their professional education for, schools, police, probation, clergy, the gamut of interested folks who were involved in partnering with the district attorney's office to improve public safety and outcomes, preventing crime most particularly. And before that, I was in government and colleges at other places. So anyhow, I'm now at Curry. I'm delighted to be here. It's okay. Relax, Michael. It's okay. Don't worry. No worries. Life happens. All good. So in any event, that's who I am. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share. I'm going to take us to the Canvas site. I'm going to look at some documents there. I'm going to use those documents to share with you an introduction to the course, and simultaneously give you sort of an overview or an orientation to the Canvas site. So bear with me. I'm going to screen share now. And I am going to go to... Bear with me. I've got to get the screen back up. Although I think I start by thinking I have everything open. Sometimes I don't. Okay. All right, so I'm going to reframe us a little bit here. This is the Canvas site. I'm going to change it to look like you see it when you open it. And I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. So, okay, so this is our Canvas site. I've already posted some announcements for you, and I'll do that regularly and routinely. I will try and do that only once a week. So occasionally there'll be something that's time sensitive that you need before the next class or something I've thought about. And in that event, I may send you an announcement in between. The announcements that have been posted so far are to welcome you to class, but also to ask you, if at all possible, to please bring your laptop or your tablet to class. Everything we have in this class is going to be run through Canvas, for better or for worse. But that includes the textbook, all of your materials, the glossary, course materials, assignments, and I'll run through that with you so that you can sort of get a quick overview of the Canvas site. But I am asking you to please bring a laptop or a tablet. Your phone is insufficient, no matter how good of a phone it may be. It is not going to be sufficient to manage the volume of information and the going back in between the various areas in Canvas that we will be visiting. Last night I sent a note because I went to check out the classroom, just to make sure that the computer was working, etc. And it is, my note last night was to say that particular classroom, which is Hafer 122, it's great, it's convenient, you blast through the door, it's the first door on the right, it's all good, and then you get out of there and you're outside real quick. It does not have any power source except on the periphery of the room, and the room is quite wide. So please bring your laptop or your tablet. Please, if at all possible, have it sufficiently charged to run for the hour and 15 minutes that we have our class. Bring a power cord with you, and if you have it or if you need them, let me know, and I'll try and snag some extension cords, because I don't want everybody sitting on the stairs when they should be sitting sitting where you need to be. So if you don't have a laptop or a tablet, please email me so we can figure out a workaround. All right, that's that. About the course, I am going to go to the syllabus, so I'm clicking here on the left-hand navigation bar, syllabus. You will see there's two documents. One is the syllabus without the course schedule, and the other is the course schedule. The reason that they are separate is because they are lengthy documents. I will turn to the schedule again at the end of this particular session, but I just want you to see that each class you will have through this schedule, and I recommend, well, you don't have to download it. I will have color copies available. If you have not already notified me that you would like a paper copy in color, please do so as soon as possible. I have 20 copies that have been ordered, and I think that's enough. It's more than enough than those who told me, but if anyone hearing this hasn't let me know that, please do let me know. So the way the syllabus reads is there are 3 columns. The far right-hand column tells you what you need to have ready for today, and today means whatever the day is in the left-hand column. So if we're meeting next on Thursday, January 27th, which we are, everything that's inside this box, whoops, sorry about that, everything inside this box is what you need to have ready for class at the beginning of class. I'm sorry, that's not true. The homework is at the beginning of class. I'm going to take you to the assignments in one second, so you can see where to find what you need. Anything that is going to be due in class, anything that's going to be graded in this class, you will know it's being graded because it will appear on the date that it's due, January 27th, in bold, italicized, red typeface. And all of those assignments that are graded will be are located and accessible in the left-hand navigation bar of Canvas when you click on assignments, and I'll take you there in a minute. Several of them, so the first one I'll go over before we end this session. I will also go over the homework. Actually, I'm going to go over that now just to keep us on board. The next class, a week from our first class, so Tuesday, February 1st, you have another short assignment due. It's not difficult. It isn't hard. I will show you shortly what your grade is based on in this class, and let it suffice to say that these things that are labeled course connection activities are easy ways to get 100. There are also easy ways to get a 0 if you don't do them. So they are designed for helpful to me to get to know you a little bit, and helpful information for me to know how best to work with you. Also helpful to boost your grade. With regard to the homework, and I'll talk about it again when we go through I'm going to cover under the topic how to achieve a good grade in this course. You want to know, what do I need to do? And I'm going to tell you, there's no secrets, there's no surprises. I'm a full disclosure kind of person. The homework is, I will show you where it is. It too is in assignments, left-hand navigation bar of Canvas. You are going to be, I'm asking you to come to class ready to talk about and work on, discuss, make improvements to, make changes to, a few things that will make class more interactive. You do have to come prepared. You do need to be ready, willing, and able to engage in class. And the homework is the way that I do that. And I'll show you again when we look at how things are graded. I'll show you the textbook. The textbook is on Canvas. I'm going to show you that. You'll see that there's a few things that you will have due. Your first exam will be on February 7th. You have 5 exams in this class. They're all multiple choice. Exams 1 through 4 cover either a part of a chapter or all of a chapter. They are open. They are online in Canvas. They are open book, open notes. Any homework that you have, open glossary. So they are, I'm not looking for you to memorize. I'm looking for you to be able to apply information. And there are, and I'll talk about in that how to achieve a good grade in this course. One of the things I'll specifically talk about is my recommendations or tips for doing well on exams. So throughout the whole semester, you will see each class, you'll have something to read. Some classes you'll have homework. I try and spread the homework out so that it's due on a Thursday or one day a week as opposed to 2. That doesn't always work, but I do the best that I can. So you see here, there's 2 homeworks due on February 10th. Homework, 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 homework. And I'll show you what those are about. Your second exam will be due February 26th at 11:45 p.m. You'll take it on Canvas. Again, open book, open notes. And so it will go through the end of the semester. So that is the course schedule. Okay, now I'm going to show you the syllabus. Let's see, where am I here? Close out of that. Okay. The course syllabus contains all the policies and all the stuff you need to know about what do you need to do, how do I grade, all kinds of information. This is a lengthy document. That is not a mistake, and I don't apologize for it because it is my policy that you ought to know up front what I want, how I want it, when I want it, what my job is, what your job is, how I can help you, where to find me, how to contact me, all of it. This document is long. It's it is 31 pages long. The good news is it's hyperlinked. So you can view it on Canvas. If you download it, where am I downloading this? I don't even know. If you download it, if I've downloaded it correctly, you will find that it's hyperlinked. Actually, I'm not going to change screens. If you download it on your computer, rather than just highlighting, it is hyperlinked. So you could just click on it and you will get to whatever the page is. So it's a very good table of contents. We're going to start with an overview of the course description. I'm going to give you a cautionary warning. I'm going to talk about course learning outcomes. I'm going to talk about the skills you're going to develop in this course. I'm going to talk to you, as I mentioned, how to achieve a good grade. And that will include a number of things that are listed in this document. So for starters, and I apologize that I'm scrolling, for reasons I can't explain, or I don't have the technological skill to explain, although PDFs and Word documents are hyperlinked, once they're loaded into Canvas, the hyperlinks no longer work. And that's why if you want to use the hyperlink, you want to download them. All right, so this is the course. This is what you're in, criminal law. It's 3 credits. Everybody had to take Intro to CJA to take this class. If you are a CJA major, you must earn a grade of C- or above in this course, or you must repeat it in order to move forward with graduation. So I do everything I can to set you up to know what you need to do and to be there to help and guide you, sometimes to push and pull you. And I know, because I've taught this class for probably 18 years anyway, I know you can do it. The question is, will you do what it's going to take to do it? And I know you can do it. I've never met a student who couldn't. Some early warnings that I want to make you aware of out of an abundance of caution. Discussions in this class are about crime. Some of the crimes we will talk about, it's criminal law, involve horrible, violent, sometimes sexually violent, horrible things that happen to people that come into the criminal justice system when police investigate, develop probable cause to make an arrest. Charges are brought about against an individual, and that individual is then charged by the state of Massachusetts or the state, whatever state the crime occurred in, if it's a state crime, or the United States of America, as in the case of, for example, the attack on the U.S. Capitol. 700 cases have already been filed against individuals, the United States of America, against some individual for violating one or more federal laws regarding that person's conduct on the day of January 6th, leading up to January 6th. The caution I have for you is it can be difficult, whether we have experienced a crime as a victim or an accused offender or witnessed crime, or sometimes having criminal justice professionals in our family or friends. It can be difficult. We will, as I say, read about some actual crimes as well as some constructed fact patterns that include graphic, violent, sexually, sometimes disturbing language and details. It's not pretty, but it's also not fake. Real people cry real tears and bleed real blood. And, there's nothing funny about crime. Really, nothing funny about it. It's serious business. And we as a society obviously hope to prevent crime from happening. But when it does, we want a system that is responsive, fair, just, and holds people accountable in a fair and just way. So chapter 1, this should say chapter 2. Chapter 2 and it won't let me change it. Chapter 1 is an introduction. Chapter 2 would focus on homicide crimes, crimes where people are killed. They didn't commit suicide. They didn't die by accident. They didn't die from natural causes. Their life was taken from them. And that person, in all likelihood, had brothers, sisters, maybe children, parents, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends, lots of people who were affected by the taking of another person's life. We will spend 2 weeks in homicide. And some of those homicides occur during what we call a capital felony, a violent crime such as aggravated rape, armed home invasion, armed burglary. If during the course of that serious crime someone is killed, that is known as felony murder, and we'll talk about all of that there. Then when we move, this should say chapter 2. When we move to chapter 3, we're talking about serious crime again, but no one died. That doesn't mean that they weren't seriously injured. It doesn't mean that there were not life-sustaining or life-altering consequences. It certainly doesn't mean that it shouldn't be investigated and people shouldn't be held accountable. In chapter 3, we do cover rape and sexual assault of adults and children, as well as domestic violence, stalking, and criminal harassment. So I alert you all to those realities of adult coverage of criminal law, and to encourage you to be mindful and aware that if you find yourself becoming uncomfortable with material, you can get up and leave class and you will not be marked absent. If you know in advance that there's material that is going to be problematic for you, and you let me know, I will do my best to find alternative assignments. I don't want to do any harm, but so I certainly don't want anybody to do something they're not comfortable doing. At the same time, criminal law is about what is it that someone does to take another person's life, or to commit the crime of armed home invasion, or aggravated rape, or mayhem, or any of the many crimes that we'll look at. So please be aware of the warning. Please take good care of yourself. Let me know if you need help or need to speak with someone. I'm happy to connect you with resources, and I'll trust you to trust yourself to do what you need to do to stay emotionally safe and healthy. Okay, what are you going to learn in this class? The first chapter lays the foundation of criminal law. And we'll talk about things like, how does criminal law fit into the criminal justice system? You know, we have law enforcement, courts, and corrections. Where does criminal law fit in? All three. Police investigate crimes, courts prosecute crimes, so the district attorney's office or the U.S. attorney's office prosecutes crimes, courts adjudicate crimes. They decide if someone doesn't plead guilty, whether in a bench trial, a trial before a judge, or a jury trial, whether the person is guilty or not. And then corrections. They carry out the sentence that the judge imposes if a person is convicted, either by plea of guilt or by finding of guilt by a jury or a judge. We're going to look at federal and state criminal law. Sometimes one set of conduct can give rise to both a violation of federal law and state law. That is certainly an example of a case of that. Currently, today was the opening arguments, or yesterday was the opening, or jury impanelment and opening arguments in a state of Minnesota and United States of America versus 3 former Minnesota police officers who witnessed the murder of George Floyd at the knee of former officer Derek Chauvin. And Mr. Chauvin has been convicted of state criminal law of murder, and he has also pled guilty to federal charges of violation of Mr. Floyd's constitutional rights. So we're going to look at federal and state criminal law in some instances. You're going to have a refresher from Intro to Criminal Justice about the three branches of government and the three levels and what they do in the criminal justice system, who does what within each branch of the criminal justice. I'm sorry, each branch of government at the federal and state level. We'll look at where does criminal law come from. Constitutional law, some few things defined as crime in the Constitution. Most of criminal law comes from statutes or statutory law. We'll look at common law. Statutory law is the law passed by elected representatives. Congress makes it a law to commit seditious conspiracy and how it should be punished. The state of Massachusetts state legislature passes laws that makes things crime. Sometimes criminal law comes out of court decisions interpreting what those statutes mean, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about classification of crime by subject matter and seriousness of offense. We'll talk about constitutional limitations. A state or federal government through the legislative branch can't make anything they want a crime. Law enforcement at the federal, state, or local level can't enforce crime any way they want. And courts cannot adjudicate, reach court decisions on criminal or state or federal crimes in any way they want. We'll talk about how society decides what should be a crime. Those of you who have taken crime theory or criminology this would be familiar territory. We'll talk about and spend a fair amount of time on the distinction between a civil case and a criminal case. Those examples that I just gave you, for example, in the Chauvin case, Officer Chauvin has been convicted. He's pled guilty to federal charges. He's been sentenced to prison to serve 22 and a half years in Minnesota State Prison. He is yet to be sentenced on the federal charges, but the members of the Floyd family are likely to bring a civil suit against Mr. Chauvin, which says, you not only did you violate criminal law, you damaged my family. You took away my father, my brother, my son, and you ought to pay for that. Not in criminal law, but pay for it. How much is the life of George Floyd worth? Because he'd be here if he hadn't been murdered. And that's not speculation. He has been convicted by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. He intentionally killed Mr. Floyd. So we'll talk about the distinction between civil and criminal law, the standards of proof, the purpose of civil law versus criminal law, and then we'll wind up talking about the all-important 4 elements of crime in Chapter 1. Every crime we will see has 4 elements, 4 things the government has to prove to get a conviction. That someone committed a criminal act, that they had the criminal intent, it wasn't a mistake, it wasn't an involuntary, they didn't have a seizure and hit somebody. They acted with some degree of either purpose or intent, that their intention and their action happened at the same time, and that their behavior, their conduct, their criminal act caused in the case of a homicide, caused the death or caused the rape or caused the robbery. Then that's the end of Chapter 1. From there on out, we will be working through, homicide crimes in Chapter 2, non-homicide crimes against the person, rape, robbery, armed home invasion. Strike that. Rape, robbery, mayhem, strangulation, all kinds of things. Then we'll look at crimes against habitation and property, where people live. Burglary, arson, armed home invasion. We're not going to do drugs. We may do a little public justice and a little public order. We're not going to do we will do operating under the influence of alcohol or other drugs as it's related to causing the death of another human being. And then we'll finally look at what we call inchoate crimes, where you haven't committed the whole act, but you've either asked someone to do it, you've reached an agreement to do it, So a lot of those recent criminal charges by the United States government against people who stormed the Capitol are seditious conspiracy. They reached an agreement, and we'll talk more about that, and then attempts. Then we will turn to elements of defenses to crime. So yes, the government might be able to prove there was a criminal act, that there was some criminal intent, that the act and the intent occurred together, and that the criminal act, caused the harm that the crime is supposed to prevent. But there's more to the story. So a classic defense would be self-defense. And so that's what we're going to cover. All right, let's see. Next, I'm going to go to, I'm going to stay in the syllabus. I apologize for that. And I am going to go to the section of the syllabus, which is, I'm used to being able to use my hyperlinks. Okay, to achieve a good grade. So I'm on page 9 of the syllabus. This is the recipe. There's quite a few steps to it, but it's a very good recipe. It works well. So to achieve a good grade in this course, you need to understand my responsibility and yours. And so it's hyperlinked. You will see that I've explained to you. This is a learner-centered course. You're going to learn. It's not going to be easy. Learning, like earning a spot on the football team or the basketball team, soccer team. It's hard, messy work. You get dirty. You have to practice a lot. You don't give up. You're going to try in some new skills. You're going to be building real-world skills or career readiness skills. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. This is my pledge to you. All of these things I promised to do to the best of my ability. I'm hoping that in that process that you will develop some goals for yourself and that I can help empower you to achieve them. Your role and responsibility is let me know when you have questions, if you need help or you're confused. I want you to be honest with yourself and with me. Don't tell me, don't make things up, okay? You are criminal justice students. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with me. If you're going to share information, make sure it's the truth. Don't make things up. Because you only have one chance to have people trust you. And I do trust you, unless you teach me that it was not well placed. You're going to have to put forth time and effort. This doesn't happen overnight. You don't earn college credits by showing up. You have to do work. I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to help you. And you're going to make a lot of mistakes because you're going to learn a lot. If you knew how to do what I'm asking you to do in this class, you wouldn't be taking the class. You could clip out of it. Okay. I want you to think about, what are your goals for this course? What are they? This is sort of the word cloud, but where do you see yourself in here? What rings out to you? What is going to matter to you? Because finding that is going to be what's going to keep you engaged. Okay, I am now going back to the next piece in the question, which is, the next piece in the question, which is, how do I do well in this course? I don't know why it's not displaying full page, so that's irritating, but okay. Okay. The attendance policy. The attendance policy in this class is hang on one second. I'm going to pause. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I'm actually in my hyperlinked copy, which you would need to download in Canvas. It's exactly the same document. So I'm continuing on, but I'll demonstrate here to you. Or I think I'm going to demonstrate to you to achieve a good grade. There we go. It pops right up. And all of these things are hyperlinks, so this will move us along. The attendance policy in this class is I take attendance at the beginning of class. If you're here, you say you're here. If you're not here, you're noted as absent. I'll talk about what you do if you don't get there on time, but you do show up. I don't give credit just for showing up. I kind of think of it as work, and just showing up is not going to be enough. So you have to arrive, you have to be prepared. I'm asking you to bring certain things to class. I am going to strongly encourage that and I'll talk about the homework, that you print out a paper copy of your homework, no matter what it is, whether it's handwritten, or I actually prefer that you save it on a thumb drive or on your laptop, because it will be easier for you to recover and to refer to during exams and on other assignments. So attendance, coming prepared, bringing a paper copy of your homework, such as it is, word processed, coming on time, leaving when class is dismissed, attending to personal needs prior to class. So I know emergencies do exist, but modeling, or I'm expecting of you skills and habits that are getting you ready for the world of work, because I don't want to scare you, but eventually you are going to have to enter the world of work, whether that's in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. And it will be important, all of these things, coming, arriving, being prepared to work, arriving on time, staying throughout the meeting. I have students who, if a student has a medical condition or a situation that they need to make me aware of, that you should be exempted from having to attend to your personal needs prior to class, then let me know. I'm flexible, and I will reasonably accommodate. By that I mean, I've had students last semester, 2 or 3 students in a fairly small class, that left every single class allegedly to use the restroom. Well, the restroom was there, and I don't want to cause anyone discomfort or embarrassment, but it should not be necessary, and it won't be acceptable unless you have arrangements with your supervisor to simply get up and leave every time there's a meeting. And it's disruptive to other students in the class. So to the extent that if there is a situation, you don't need to disclose any more than what I need to know to give you an accommodation. And otherwise, please, if you need to have food or use the restroom or have water or whatever, take care of it before you come to class. Be attentive during class. No texting, no checking emails, surfing the web, watching videos from the game on Saturday, wearing headphones and the like, and actively participate. So you don't get credit, you don't get credit for simply showing up for class. The expectations for class are you getting graded on not only coming, you get 0 credit for coming, because showing up isn't enough. You have to participate, you have to prepare, and you have to participate. And the reason for these expectations are clearly set forth here. And it's part of building those important academic and career readiness. Managing your time and the tasks. What have you got to get done? Making things a priority, taking care of what needs to be taken care of. Getting organized, staying organized. Following directions, critical reading, solving problems, writing, taking responsibility, and a commitment to quality work. Those are all things that we have to develop to be successful in our careers. The homework component of the attendance, class preparation, and class participation. As noted previously, is in the right-hand column, all of the homework is shown in bold capital letters, what's due today. Can you work on homework with other students? Absolutely. Is the homework graded? Absolutely not. It's what you need to do to be ready to participate in class discussions and activities. And again, it's like work. It's like playing on a team. If the coach says, I want you to work on this, and when you come back to practice on Thursday, this is what I want to be able to see you do. And we'll work on it some more. Same theory. Again, I'm asking you to bring a paper copy to class of whatever homework you do, because as we're talking about it, it will be easier to take notes on it, to add to it, to cross things out. Where do you find the homework? The homework is in Canvas. The homework is in Canvas in the left-hand margin under assignments, and I will go there before we're finished. You will see that some of the homework will say everybody has to do it. It'll say all. But sometimes, and oftentimes, particularly when we're working on case exercises, so these would be there's 8 cases that we'll be looking at. And this is in, these are all homicide cases. I'll give a practice demonstration in the instructions. Then everyone is assigned to a team, A, B, C, D, or E. So which of the homework problem you will work on will depend upon what team you're on. So let me take a break there, take you to where that is, and then we will come back. All right. Assignments. Homework, ungraded, and all graded assignments except for exams or quizzes are in assignments. When you click on assignment, you will see there's the assignment, which is due on Thursday. When you open it, it tells you what I want you to do. So you're reading the chapter. You're going to open a Word document. You're going to put your name and homework one at the top. You're going to copy, cut, and paste all these questions. You're going to type in your answers. And then I want you all to have either a thumb drive or somewhere on whether it's on your desktop or in the cloud on OneDrive or whatever it is you use. I want a dedicated criminal law folder, and inside of it a homework folder in which you're going to save all of your homework. Again, print it out, bring it to class, and take notes on it. Next class, you have the 2 questions to answer after you've done the reading, 16 pages of reading in the textbook, and I'll show you where that is in a moment. The second is an assignment for you to post a video and introducing yourself to me and the classmates. You will, if you click on it, it will tell you exactly what I want you to do. I will almost always tell you why I'm asking you to do it, explain to you what I want you to do, and I try and make it as straightforward as possible. Okay, that's that. The textbook. I'm clicking on modules. There is a lot on Canvas. Everything is on Canvas. And so it's important that you get a sense of how to find your way around Canvas. So you'll see there's some blank spaces in between. That's sort of, think about this as folders, and inside maybe subfolders and documents. The textbook. I'll talk about I'll tell you right now. The textbook is, I wrote the textbook. It's in its 15th edition. It's available to you without charge. And it is always going to be, there's a chapters 1 through 10. We're not covering chapters 4, 5, we're not covering 4, 6, 7, or 10. But the first folder so Chapter 1 is Introduction to Criminal Law. Chapter 2 is Homicide Crimes, textbook. There it is. Chapter 3, Non-Homicide Crimes, textbook. There it is. When you open the textbook, there it is. Here again, it is hyperlinked. So if you were looking for something in this chapter, if you download the document, it's hyperlinked. If you keep it, if you don't choose to download it from Canvas and save it, then you have to do the old-fashioned way. You have to scroll through. What you will see, so the first chapter is the longest chapter. It's broken in 2, and that is why you have 2 exams on Chapter 1. So we will, there's no surprises, there's no secret, it's all here, it's all here. You'll find that there are a lot of things that are hyperlinked that will give you examples. You will also find there's something in Chapter 1 and occasionally in some other chapters as well, which are called demonstration cases. And I'll show you those in a minute. Please note that in every chapter, there are these things that are called discussion and review that have videos. You are not required to view them. If you learn better by seeing and hearing it at the same time, then watch the videos. They're great. They're helpful. But I'm not going to require you to do it. There will be practice case exercises we'll do in class. I might ask you to do them as homework, but you're going to be doing a lot of hands-on stuff. And then, as I mentioned, you will see in Chapter 1 in particular, you'll see in red a demonstration case, and I'll give you the name of the case. Those are high-profile cases in the news today that demonstrate one or more of the concepts in Chapter 1 that I'm trying to underscore with you. Those demonstration cases, so when you get to this point in Chapter 1, I'm going to be talking about the state of Minnesota versus Derek Chauvin, which I already did today. We'll talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse case. We'll do those again. Parts of those again will be covered in Chapter 2 on homicide. We'll talk about the Capitol riot case. Those demonstration cases are on Canvas. Go to modules. You'll see this folder is labeled Demonstration Cases, the course glossary, and other course resources. Each one of those demonstration cases, of which there are 4, will have materials, a summary and other materials that we'll be looking at to help us understand the concepts that are being introduced in Chapter 1. In this block or module, there's a criminal law and procedure glossary. Criminal law, like has its own language, and it's really important that we all be talking the same talk and using the same words. This is a very lengthy but important document, 151 pages long. Again, it's hyperlinked. So when we talk about what is an acquittal, when we talk about acquittal, what does it mean? What does that word mean? I don't want you to Google it. I don't want you to, call a friend. I want you to use this glossary. Get used to using it. You might want to download it on your computer. It's a hell of a lot easier to use it. Actually, I'm not going to download it. It's a hell of a lot easier to use it when you can use the hyperlinks. But we won't use all of the words in this. This is a glossary I prepared for this class and another class which I teach, but there will be words that you're going to have to look up. And when we talk about certain things, it will be very important to make sure we're on the same page. That, for example, the words criminal negligence or recklessness or extreme carelessness, I don't want you to Google it. I don't want you to go, to dictionary.com. Those words are legal words. They have meaning, and they have particular meaning in the context of the statutes in Massachusetts and to a very significant degree in most other states. So you want to be familiar with and make use of those resources. The demonstration cases, which you won't be needing them for another 2 or 3 courses, so don't worry if you go there and you don't see what you want. And the glossary. Okay, so let's see. What else do you need to know? I'm going to let you and encourage you to poke your way through. Sorry, I'm on page 9. I'm returning to, I'll cover grading policy, and then I will cover a dozen tips, and then I already covered the course glossary. I'll cover the exam, and then we'll be done. All right, attendance policy, course structure, attendance policy. Attendance means coming, prepared, and actively participating. Okay, what's your grade based on? Hang on 1 second. I'm back in the wrong document. The grading policy is on page 22. You have a number of course connection activities, mostly at the beginning of the semester, one at midterm, one at the end of the semester. 15% of your grade is based upon those activities. They're easy A's, don't blow it. They all appear in the course schedule in the far right-hand column. You can access those activities or assignments on Canvas in the left-hand navigation bar under assignments. Coming to class, as I've explained, isn't going to be enough. You need to be prepared. You need to participate. You'll have 3 graded case exercises. You'll get lots of practice on how to do them. The first one will be on a homicide case. The second will be a non-homicide case, and the third one will be involving crimes against habitation and property. We'll be doing a lot of these. You'll be doing lots of homework to get you ready for the ones that will count as grading. So if you say, well, I'm just not going to grade the homework. You're right. But it'll become very abundantly clear when you have to do one for grading. If it doesn't go well, I'll know you haven't done the homework, because there's no reason, if you had done the homework, brought it to class, listened and taken notes, you should be in pretty good shape. 5 exams, 4 online. The final will be in class on the day of the final exam, which is noted on the course syllabus. I explained to you why I do those course connection activities. They all have to follow these directions. They have to be word processed. They have to be submitted on Canvas using the assignment link, which is right with the directions. When you're doing graded case exercises, we'll go over, you'll have lots of practice, as I said, but the instructions will make it clear to you. This says, why do I have you do case exercises? How do you know how to complete them? It's all explained there. Why do I require not just showing up at class preparation and active participation? We already covered that. Please read it over. How is the homework graded? It's not. Where do you find it? All of those answers are there. Okay, exams, I've talked about that. Due dates, late policy. Your work is due, deadlines exist. We're modeling real world expectations because it's not like a light switch. You don't just graduate from college and turn on a light and all of a sudden be able to manage the expectations in the real world. So we're going to practice it. If you cannot take the exam, you have 72 hours of the scheduled date if you notify me as soon as possible for the reason I forgot, I was hungover, I screwed up. Those probably are not going to be justified reasons to give you a makeup. But you never know. Any late course or connection activity or case exercises can be submitted 72 hours late automatically without permission in advance for a maximum grade of a 75. So if it's perfect, you get a 75. If there's an emergency, and by that I mean you're hospitalized or a loved one, there's been a death in the family, or someone is in an emergency situation. If your father's going in for an appendectomy, that's not an emergency. It's routine surgery. And unless there's some special circumstances, I wouldn't consider that an emergency. And if you think it is an emergency, let me know, and I'll let you know what I think. There's always going to be special circumstances in personal injury, illness, family, personal crisis, whatever it happens to be. Let me know. I'm hoping we're not going to use Zoom, and I'm awaiting clarification from the powers that be, from the administration and my department chair, about when Zoom will be required to be available, whom it will be available to, and my understanding, just so I'm not holding out, my understanding is, if my understanding is correct, a Zoom class is available only to students who have been, if I have been notified, are COVID positive or COVID exposed, and either are quarantining or isolating. No other students are eligible to attend class via Zoom. I'm seeking clarification on that, and I'll keep you posted. All right, I think I've given you enough. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to invite you to, and I will actually, in class, check to see when we meet next class, whether or not you have any questions.